everyone. Welcome to Brown Girls Happy Hour, where two brown girls drink cocktails or mocktails and discuss books. And we also get authors as guests on our show to discuss their books with them. And today we have a very special author with us. She was the very first author who came to Brown Girls Read podcast. So I'm just going to invite her. Um, okay.
Hi.
Hi, you guys.
Hi, Alka.
I'm so glad to be with you guys again.
It's
Us
so
too.
great to have you here.
Yeah. I have been looking forward to meeting. I have so many questions.
I've got my cocktail jewelry on, so it's a little danglier and larger than what I normally wear.
That's awesome. Should we get started by making a cocktail?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure nobody needs introduction here, right? Everybody knows who Alka Joshi is at this point.
And if you don't know, you can always look at the posters behind me.
Yeah, okay, so we are gonna make the Maharani cocktail today, which is a recipe created by Alka's brother, and it's also included in her upcoming book, The Secret Keeper of Jaipur. And to make this, you need ounce and a half of gin. So basically a shot of gin. And what you would do is you infuse it with some cardamom and saffron ahead of time. I'm traveling right now, so I didn't have saffron. I could find cardamom, so I made this tiny thing over here. And then you need a little bit of orange liquor. I have my tiny bottles, travel size. And then you need some tonic water to just top it off. And we are gonna start with glass full of ice. And then let's pour in our cardamom saffron gin here.
Wow, look at that. It's so nice that you prepared it ahead of time, you guys. I love that. Okay.
That's where our priorities are, Alka. Then a
You
few
know,
drops of orange liquor.
yeah. My
And
brother was visiting when he was making up this cocktail. And so every couple of minutes, he would come out of the kitchen and he would say, okay, now try it. Okay, now try it. Okay. And so, by the end of the session, I had drunk like a whole bowl full of this cocktail. Anyway, go on.
sounds like a good time to me.
Yeah.
Then you just top it off with some soda or tonic water. I have ginger beer today. I'm just
Oh,
like
nice.
grazing through my friend's fridge to find whatever I can.
Ginger
Okay,
beer
so
works. Yeah.
yeah, so we're done. Just mix it off and ready to drink.
All right.
All right,
Okay.
cheers.
I'm drinking coffee today.
Cheers. Mm.
Mm.
It's good. We
Yeah.
made this before last year. Even with ginger beer,
Wow.
this is good. We were more authentic last year. We had all the ingredients at that point.
So you guys have read The Secret Keeper of Jaipur now?
So Daman has read it. I haven't yet, but yes, I'm going to read it. I got it today, so I'm going to read it
Oh,
today.
really?
That's
Yeah,
right. That's right. It's only just coming out now. Yeah.
right. Yeah, I think Daman won some
Yeah, I think I
Goodreads.
got it on Goodreads giveaway.
Oh, lucky you.
I know.
I have never in my life won a giveaway ever. I don't win any raffles. I've never won a giveaway. I don't know. I must just have bad luck.
I don't want to jinx it by telling you the number of books I have won.
Oh, so you're
Oh
one of
my
those people who
God.
always wins. Wow.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
knock on wood.
Knock on wood. Yep, absolutely. Okay.
So Alka, yes. Before we start asking questions, I already told you I have so many. So like and I haven't read the book yet, so you can imagine how excited I am. Um, so let's start with the cover of the book. It
Okay.
is so different from what Henna Artist was, even the color scheme, and so what is different? Like, how did you decide to get this cover?
Well, so the art department at HarperCollins, they sent me a whole bunch of covers. They sent me a whole bunch of women in different clothing. And so I got to decide, does this look like Nimmi? Does this look like Lakshmi? You know, because Nimmi in The Secret Keeper of Jaipur is a tribal woman. So she dresses more elaborately. Like she has more color in her wardrobe. Lakshmi tends to dress a little more subtly. So, you know, they have very different kind of clothing. So the art department was sending me all of these different images, and then they were sending me the images of the background. And what they were wanting to do was to marry these two images together, the woman and the background. And the background, they just weren't able to find a background that was really working for this. I said, you know, what about the mountains up in Shimla? And they said, yeah, but if it's called The Secret Keeper of Jaipur, we can't do the mountains of Shimla. You know, that would be really weird. But that was one of my original titles for this book, is The Mountains of Shimla. So we went through that, and then they said, okay, so we've shown the Jaipur Palace. Which palace should we show this time? So I remembered that in the City Palace of Jaipur, there is a blue room. And it's considered Wedgwood blue, and it has this white, you know, detailing all around. It's a gorgeous room, and it's just like 20 by 20 feet, and it has all these colonnades. And the Maharajas would sit on these nice silk cushions to welcome guests into this room. So I thought, okay, well, I said to them, what about the blue room? And they looked it up and they said, okay, yeah, we can do that. And then we settled on this figure for this woman who is in a beautiful sort of presentation pose, the way that I think Nimmi would like to be. I think Nimmi wants to be presented to Malik's family as a good choice for him. So, you know, I wanted to sort of convey that. So that's what's happening with the cover.
Oh, thank you so much for that explanation. I want to know who Nimi is, but I would wait till I read the book.
I'm like holding myself back because I know what Alka is talking about, but I'm like, well, no spoilers.
I actually do want to talk about Nimmi because, and you know, it's not a spoiler because she is one of the main narrators of the book, of the story. So Nimmi is this tribal woman, and this is how I started the story. It started with the, you know, the scene that came to me in my mind, and the scene was Nimmi is setting up her flower stall on the Shimla Mall, and she is dressed in all of her finery, her tribal finery. She's got the silver medallion here, and she's got all of her silver, you know, necklaces and earrings and bracelets and everything. And she wants to stand out on the mall because this is where all the tourists come. This is where all the vacationing families come to buy things. And she wants, you know, people to come to her stall. And what she sees are two people coming right to her stall. And she's thinking, who are these people? They look like they have a mission. And then as they get closer, I can see as the writer that they are Malik and Lakshmi. And Malik is now 20 years old. So I know how old he is now. And if he's 20, then Lakshmi has to be 40 something, right? So that's how I saw this happening. They come closer to the stall. And then I see that at her feet is this basket. And in the basket are her two little kids. So then I think to myself, why does she have two kids in the basket? Where is her husband? And then I think to myself, why is she at the Shimla Mall when, if she's a nomadic tribal woman, why isn't she going up the mountains with her tribe at this time, which is what they would all be doing? They would be going up because it's springtime, obviously, since nobody is dressed like the winter. And they are going back up to the North Himalayas so that they can be there for the summer in the Himalayas. So I have to ask myself all these questions. Now, as Malik and Lakshmi come closer, I see that Malik is attracted to this woman behind the stall. And I think, have they met each other before? Have they talked to one another before? Is this the first time they're actually face to face? I don't know yet. And then I see Lakshmi, and I see that she's very interested in this woman's flowers, but then she looks up and she sees this woman gazing at Malik, and she sees that there's this connection going on, and she's like, I don't know if I want that connection there, because Lakshmi's main thing, and it was the same thing with Radha. She wants these young people to have a career and some kind of financial stability before they start families. And she doesn't want Malik to get into a ready-made family like this unless he has something he can fall back upon as a career. So that's how the whole thing started.
Wow,
I love how you created that whole tension between Nimi and Lakshmi throughout, because you feel strongly for both the women. Lakshmi we already love. Nimi is also so strong and so rooted in her culture. And then there's no clear villain of sorts. So you are also like disliking that discomfort and tension that exists between the women, and you don't know which side to pick. So you really kept the reader on edge in a way.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad because, I didn't want either one of them to be the villain. I just want them to be two women with two very different ideas about what they want in life and how sometimes those conflict. And when they have that kind of challenging conflict, how does it get resolved? How are these women going to come to a resolution, especially when they're kind of fighting over Malik? They're fighting over this guy. And, one woman wants one thing for him and the other woman wants another thing for him. So
it's so reflective of like a mother-in-law, daughter-in-law relationship, even though it wasn't exactly that.
Yeah.
So, and I loved how it progressed through the story without giving it away. The way it progressed, I really like that.
Yeah. Now back in Jaipur, though, there are clear villains, right? So,
yes.
And, just recently I was asked what kind of an emoji I would pick for describing this story. And I picked that see no evil monkey, because I think what's really happening is that there are all these people in Jaipur who know what's going on. They even understand what this illegal activity is. They understand the smuggling that's going on, but they are blinding themselves to it because they have something to gain if they just remain blind to what's actually happening. Yeah.
That's interesting. There's smuggling and all. Oh my God. It seems like so different from
there's elements of thriller in there.
Yeah,
Wow.
I've always wanted to write a thriller, So I felt like, okay, in Malik's story, I think I get to write a thriller. And I didn't want Malik to be the only one involved in the thrill. I wanted the women to also be involved. Women rarely get to be the heroines of like a major adventure like this, action adventure. And I wanted those women to, also have a part in the danger of what's going on. So, and then I think the other thing I wanted to explore is, in South Asia, people are obsessed with gold, obsessed with 22 karat, 24 karat gold. What is that all about? I wanted to look into that. And, where is all of this gold coming from? Because it seems like there's an endless supply of it. Every year people get married and they all go out and buy extra gold. Where is it coming from? And that's when I found out that most of that gold is not even mined in India anymore. India has run out of its gold, and so it's coming from abroad. Now, when it's coming from abroad, a duty has to be paid on it, right? Just like anything that comes that is imported into a country, you have to pay some kind of a duty on it. And so because everybody doesn't want to pay duty on this very expensive gold, half of it they buy legally and half of it is smuggled in illegally, so it never gets counted. And that's how India gets so much gold for all of those families that need it.
Oh, wow.
Very interesting.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Another question that I had, and I'm going to come back to the title now. So how did you choose the title? Because it seems like half of the story is set in Shimla and the other half is in Jaipur. So how did you come up with the Secret Keeper of Jaipur?
So I thought that since Malik is going down to Jaipur and he is going to be meeting up with the Singhs again, I know that he holds a lot of secrets of the Singhs. He knows exactly what Sheila was like when she was a girl. He knows what Ravi was like in getting Radha pregnant. He knows all about that. He knows that there was something between Samir Singh and Lakshmi. He doesn't know exactly what it was, but he knows that there was some, that they were attracted to one another. They were drawn to one another. So, you know, he doesn't know the details of what happened, but he is keeping a lot of secrets. And so I thought he's the secret keeper of Jaipur. But recently, I had a bunch of super fans talk about the Secret Keeper. They all had advanced digital copies. And they said to me, oh, Malik's not the only secret keeper. You know, Lakshmi is also a secret keeper. She keeps a lot of secrets. She's keeping Nimmi's secrets, and she keeps secrets of all of the Maharanis. She's keeping a lot of secrets herself. And then somebody else said, and what about the jeweler? He's also a secret keeper because he knows about what's happening with families. He's keeping a big secret of Malik's, right? Because we're going to find out in the Secret Keeper of Jaipur where Malik comes from, what his family makeup was all about in Jaipur, and why he actually had to leave at the time that Lakshmi asked him to come to Shimla. You know, it was kind of to save him because he needed saving at that time to get away from, well, I won't give it away, but yeah. So there are a lot of secret keepers. I didn't even realize that, you know, and I think, you know, if you look at it another way, then I guess Parvati is keeping a secret too. She knows what her husband was up to with Lakshmi, and she knows that that house that she bought, that she has now turned into her bridge set sort of house, her games room, you know, she knows where that came from. So yeah, I guess there's a whole bunch of people keeping secrets in Jaipur, not necessarily in Shimla, but definitely in Jaipur.
Yeah, when I read the title of the book, immediately I thought it has to be Lakshmi because she has been keeping so many secrets. But now that you say that, you know, it was it's Malik, I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense too.
Yeah. I
We
mean,
can also call it the City of Secrets.
ooh, I like that. Ooh, the City of Secrets. I like that very much. So one of the things that they want when you're writing a series, and of course I didn't know I was writing a series in the beginning. I had, of course, different titles for all of these books, and my editors are the ones who actually make better titles than I do. So in the Henna Artist, I had as my title Henna when I first began writing it. In year 1 and 2. By the time it got to year 8, I was calling it The Enemy of the Crocodile. And then they said, and then they said, no, we're not going to call it that. We just call it The Henna Artist. So then when the second book was written, they said, in order to thematically go with these two, and then the third one, we have to have, since the Henna Artist is a person, we have to have the Secret Keeper as a person. So I wanted to call it the Royal Jewel Cinema, which is a cinema house that collapses, right, where Malik starts to find what the secrets are of the building trade. But as I was, you know, coming up with that, they said, no, this has to be a person. It can't be just a building. So because the Henna Artist is not a building, it's a person. So now I had to make it the Secret Keeper. So you can bet number 3 is going to be a person. And you already know that, you know, it's going to be about Radha as a perfumer in Paris. So I'm not quite sure. Maybe it'll be the perfumer of Paris. Who knows?
The Saint woman.
Can you give us some, like, very little detail about what happens to Radha in this book?
In The Secret Keeper or book number 3?
Secret Keeper.
So in The Secret Keeper, the book is much more about Malik and what he's doing down in Jaipur. But what we have learned in The Secret Keeper is that Lakshmi married a Frenchman. And this Frenchman was traveling through the Himalayas while she was in school. And I am going to tell you in book 3 how they met and, you know, how they started talking to one another and, you know, sort of dating. And then eventually she elopes with him to France. She doesn't tell anybody where she's going, but she's about to graduate and then she elopes. And then they are living in France, and they have two little girls. So, you know, in The Secret Keeper in 1969 that she is married in France with two little girls, and she works in the perfume trade.
Yeah, the way you ended the book, there was so much intrigue. I just can't wait for the third book already.
Yeah, I thought Lakshmi would get married to the doctor.
No,
Well,
I think she meant Radha. I think. Yeah,
Oh,
Radha is the
okay.
one she's talking about.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm talking about Radha, but you're asking about Lakshmi. Yeah, Lakshmi marries Dr. Kumar, and in The Secret Keeper, I know I wanted to keep all of that, you know, kind of a surprise. But when I read the jacket cover that somebody had written in the marketing department, it already says Lakshmi now married to Dr. Kumar. So, yeah, so she, it took about 6 years for him to convince her.
Yeah, that
To,
was really sweet, the
yeah,
whole thing.
yeah, yeah. And I think he was waiting and waiting and waiting for her to catch up, you know, to how he felt about her. And finally, one day, you know, I think he just kind of pushed the issue and said, okay, so, you know, we're not playing this game anymore. So,
Oh, that's amazing.
yeah, yeah. And I thought that was the perfect way for him to approach her, because, you know, he is not an aggressive man. He's very different from Samir. Samir would have been coy coy about it. He might have been even a little assertive about jumping on Lakshmi, but, you know, Dr. Kumar's not like that. And I thought, when I was figuring out how they might have gotten together, this was just so natural for them to have first developed a real friendship and then go into a romantic entanglement. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
And speaking of Dr. Kumar and Lakshmi, that whole part about how sheep are being used, Kathy, you have to read it to understand. Sorry.
Yeah.
So it was so amazing because I didn't know that happened, and it's like something new I learned from your book. So I'm curious how much research you had to do to find how the whole smuggling trade works between the borders.
So first, I started looking at how gold is smuggled into the country. And it's very much smuggled in the way that drugs are smuggled. You know, like all the things you have ever seen in a TV series or in a book about how gold is smuggled, right? People swallow it, it comes out the other end. So, you know, sometimes they line their coats with gold ingots. There's all kinds of different ways in which gold is smuggled in. You know, sometimes they even pin it like on their heads and then put a wig on top of it, you know, which I think would be hard to do with like gold bars. But there's all kinds of very interesting ways in which it's been smuggled in. And I read this one line in my research about how sometimes sheep are used. Well, there was no detail on how sheep are used. So I created in my mind how I think they were using sheep to smuggle in gold. So that's kind of where the whole sheep thing came from, because I was like, okay, so how would I do that if I were, you know, in the smuggling business? It's so weird, you know, as an author, you have to get in the minds of all of these various characters and how they might do things. It's kind of wacko, but yeah.
That's amazing. And so I want to come back to Nimi, the character that you introduced in the book. Who was she inspired by?
As I was researching the information about gold smuggling, I started to learn a lot about the nomads who sometimes get conscripted into this illegal activity, whether it's whether it's ferrying guns across the Himalayas or drugs or gold or whatever it is that they're smuggling through the borders. Sometimes these native people, these nomadic tribes, you know, are forced into working for smugglers, for traffickers, or threatened with their lives, you know, that the entire tribe will be demolished unless you help us do this. And so as I was researching these nomadic tribes, it was so fascinating to learn about them and to learn about this cross migration they do every season, taking their goats and sheep and water buffalo up and down the mountains. What a hard life they have, and how many of them are illiterate because they've never have a stable school that they end up going to.
Okay.
So as I was doing that, I started, reading about these nomads, and the women to me were fascinating because think about these women. They're on the road all the time. They have to do all these things like get pregnant on the road, deliver babies on the road, have their periods on the road, take care of children on the road. How do they do all of that? And they sleep on the road, on these pads that have been set up in the mountains for hundreds of years. So in the worst of conditions. And I was just amazed by these women and how hardy they were. So that's where Nimmi came from. And I thought, what would happen if a woman like Nimmi lost her husband? Well, one of the things I found out is, she would have been married off to one of the other older farmers or ranchers in this nomadic tribe. And Nimmi decides that since her husband fell down the ravine, and it's a very treacherous trek that they make every summer and every winter, she's like, you know what? I don't want my children to suffer the same fate that my husband did. I saw it firsthand. I saw him fall down. I don't want anybody to have that. So she decides for herself that she wants to stay in town and make a living by herself. And her father-in-law wishes her good luck because, he's certainly not going to, he's certainly not going to help her, but he does give her all of her silver jewelry that she got for the wedding so that she can support herself for a while at least. Yeah.
It's so commendable how you've thought of, every little detail about these characters and imagined their lives. And just like I think, when was Henna Artist released? Like last year? So it's just
it
about
was
a year
March.
ago.
Yeah, March the 10th, 2020. And I started working on The Secret Keeper in 2018. And so it's being released this year. It took me about 2 years to sort of complete the whole story. And boom. And then, my editor looked at it and she goes, Alka, I don't have a lot to change in here because you just know these characters so well that they come across really clearly. And, let's go. So,
it's incredible.
Yeah. And, frankly, I think as an author, it's easier to write a series. I understand why, like, J.K. Rowling wrote a whole series, because once you know these characters, you really do understand how they're going to react in different situations. And so I put them in different situations and I wait for them to tell me how they're going to react. And they do tell me. They go, okay, I'm going to move across here. I'm going to slap that person.
Wow, you're like one of those amazing authors who, who has such an artistic process of creating a story. It's amazing to see that. Like,
it's interesting you say that, because when I would take classes in graphic design, or I would take classes in writing, I would have instructors say, you're like a diamond in the rough. We don't quite know where you fit in, but you've got something here that a lot of people don't have. And I didn't know what they were talking about, and I didn't know what this diamond was that they were talking about. But I get it now, because I think what they were saying is you have the ability to both think visually and write verbally. So because I can do both of those things, it makes it really much easier for me to write than maybe other people who have a harder time, or who get writer's block, or feel like they're staring at a blank piece of paper for hours. I never have that problem. So
yeah, and that reflects in your books as well, in the stories that you create.
Oh, that's great. That's great. What so now are you guys doing this because you'd like to be writers someday? Are you guys writing? Are you writing journals? Are you writing short stories? What are you guys working on?
So for now, we are just talking, Alka. We are reading and we are talking, and that's all it is.
You don't want to tell me?
No, there's nothing really. I just don't want to start a thing where Kathy starts grilling me about just saying that I want to write but not writing.
Daman, yeah, definitely Daman wants to write a book. So I have been asking her to, just start doing it now. So yeah, I think that's why she doesn't want to talk about it.
No, I'm following Alka's advice. I am writing mentally. So once I'm
Okay.
done with that, then I'll write on paper.
Good. Okay. That sounds good. That sounds good. And you can just write down a scene. Like if a scene comes to your imagination, just write down the scene. You never know where that might take you, but it's always fun to write down the scene. So the moment I start writing down the scene, that's when all the questions come, right? Like, where are these people going to go after Lakshmi has looked at flowers that Nimmi has set out? Where is she going to go? Why is she so unhappy about Malik and Nimmi not being or being attracted to one another? How is she going to separate them? And then you figure out, oh, she's arranged for this apprenticeship. That's where she has sent Malik. And Malik is going to, and Malik is he's loyal and he's also respectful of Lakshmi, and he knows he owes a life to her. So he's going to do what she asks him to do, whether Nimmi likes it or not.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could totally see that. But I loved how he was handling it still. Like, yeah, it wasn't an ideal situation, but he wasn't like rude to Lakshmi ever because he found a new person, or he was rude to this new person because he's totally under control of Lakshmi. None of that was happening. So I really liked the whole dynamic that you written in that.
And then the other dynamic I wanted to write is how hard it is for parent figures to let go. I'm sure you guys have parents who have found it really hard to let go. I mean, aren't parents like as a child, you think, hey, look, I'm all grown up. I can make my own decisions. And they don't think that you can. And, even today, gosh, I'm 63 years old and my dad will still say sometimes, oh, I don't know, honey, if you should make that decision. And I'm like, Dad, it's okay. Even if I make a mistake, it's my mistake. It's not your mistake. Don't worry about it. I will never blame you for it.
Yeah, that's so true. And I also want to ask you, so in the Henna Artist, we saw a lot of proverbs that were used in the story. Is it the same in the Secret Keeper of Jaipur as well? And what's your favorite?
I spotted a few. I don't remember
Yeah.
now, but
Yeah.
I did spot a few.
Yeah, exactly. So the Proverbs are mainly in Lakshmi's life, right? Because she and Samir Singh used to trade Proverbs. And then, of course, that they also traded Proverbs with Jay Kumar, because Samir and Jay had been at school together, and when we first meet Jay Kumar in the beginning of the Henna Artist, he's also trading Proverbs with them. Okay. So when Lakshmi and Jay Kumar are together in Shimla, they are trading Proverbs. So so there's some Proverbs there, and then there's a few Proverbs that are scattered later on in Jaipur, but mostly it is when Lakshmi and Jay are together. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Madhu Singh, of course, makes a reappearance in the book.
Wow.
And
I love that the old Maharani was still there. I really liked her appearance.
Yeah. But didn't it make you sad? Oh, it made me so sad.
Yeah.
But yes, the older Maharani makes her, is prominent in The Secret Keeper, and so is the younger Maharani. So they are back. But because their husbands are now both deceased, these two Maharanis have a lot more agency than they ever used to. And they are making decisions, financial decisions, that they never had a chance to make before. And they are using every bit of the power that they have, which I really wanted to show. I think that once, some of these women who were never allowed any power, once they have power, they wield it well. They wield it wisely. So I wanted to show that. Yeah.
That's nice. And you said that you also take some classes, is it? What is that? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
You mean like, do I currently take some classes, or? Yeah. So I'm about to start my French class again. I keep taking my French class. And so, of course, in book number 3, I'm going to have a lot of French in there, along with the Hindi. So people will have to look up both the French and the Hindi in the back of the book. but yeah, I love my French teacher, and I love everybody in our class. It's really kind of a fun class. It's a conversational class. So that's something that I'm taking right now. And then my other class right now, of course, I'm starting back up in yoga again, which I'm really excited about because I really missed it for the last year. You know, with all the heavy breathing you have to do in yoga, I couldn't go, you know, to a class. You know, we couldn't be inside at all. I did some outdoor yoga a little bit, but the teacher really had to yell so that we could all hear her standing 6 feet apart. And then I take swimming. It's like swimming aerobics. So I take that. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's.
Do you have a message for us in French, Alka?
Okay, how about this one? Bonne chance. How about, let's see. What would you like me to say? Let's see.
You probably have to translate it after because we don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. So bonne chance is good luck, right? Good luck.
Oh.
And j'espère que vous écrivez un roman. So I hope that you write a book.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
Thank you so
I love
much.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love
You
learning.
also have that accent really well. Like the accent is really good, Alka. That's a
have you
good
guys,
class.
Have you guys taken French?
I tried
No.
on Duolingo once. I couldn't make any sense of it, so I dropped it.
I took 5 years of high school French, 5 years. And then when I got to college, you know, I majored in art history. And in art history, there was this program in Florence we could go to with the university. And they had a whole, like the whole program, you could stay in this villa. They had maid service. You had, you know, 2 fabulous Italian meals a day. You had cappuccino in the library at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. It was an amazing place.
Wow.
And I thought, I want to go there. And if you were going to apply there, you had to know Italian. So then I started taking Italian. So I also speak Italian. And I got to go to that program, and it was just wonderful. I went for 2 semesters. It was amazing. It was great. I will never live that well again, you guys. It really felt like I was living like a Maharani, because here we are in this villa, and other people are taking care of every need that we have. It was amazing. And then
I'm gonna start learning Italian now so I can go to that place.
I love, you know, I think actually Italian culture is very close to our culture and to the South Asian culture. The moment that I stepped foot in Italy all those years ago, I felt like I was home. And I don't know if it's because maybe in a past life I was Italian. I don't know, but it just felt like I was home. Much more so than I feel in France. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I think so. I've been to Spain and France, and I think Spain feels more like home, more warmth and, you know, more welcoming people than France for sure. But is that you're learning French, and is that why you decided to like keep the 3rd book in France? Like,
Well, I wanted to go to France to research book number 3, and that's why I put it in France. But then COVID came, you guys, and I can't go anywhere. So I can't go to France.
Oh no.
Yeah. And so I thought, okay, well, I've lived in France, so I'm relying on my memories. And and then I keep taking my French class, and that, you know, our instructor has us read a lot of stories. She has us talk about things. So that is helping, you know, keep me in the French mode. But yeah,
maybe soon places are opening up. Maybe soon you'll be able to go.
Maybe. But in France, as you know, the perfume industry is huge. And it's in the southeast of France. There's a place called Grasse where they manufacture a lot of perfume. So that's where I wanted to go. Then I wanted to go to Bulgaria, where they have an annual Rose Festival in June. So I've missed that also. So you can imagine you walk through these rose fields and the smell, the heady scent of roses must be everywhere. And then in India, they have these places. So I was going to drop down to India and then go to these places where they have tuberose harvest, because they make a lot of tuberose oil that goes into perfume in India, sandalwood oil that goes into perfume, and they make oud, you know, that it's a very heady fragrance. It's used a lot in the Mid East, but much of the base of it is can also be manufactured in India. So I wanted to go to all these places where there's all these perfumes being manufactured, so that I could, infuse my third book with a lot of these little details. But I'm having to rely on YouTube videos and memory. Yeah. But who knows? Maybe I will get a chance to go later, later this year. I didn't want to be in France in the wintertime, but it sounds like I'm probably going to be there in the wintertime, like December.
Yeah, that's
Maybe you'll
fine.
discover something you didn't expect.
Yeah.
Yes, that is absolutely true. And I absolutely cannot go to India, right? You guys, do you guys have family in India who
Yes.
are maintaining really strict COVID guidelines?
Yeah.
Yeah. But now I'm hearing that everyone's like going back to work, like everything's opened up.
Already?
And people are
In
like
some
now.
cities where like there's more economical impact, I think that's where it's starting to happen.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, but mostly I think people are following protocol. But yeah, let's see. I hope like it doesn't come back, like the situation doesn't get worse.
There are really funny things happening on the internet though. People are claiming that after you get vaccinated, you get magnetic powers and things stick to your body. And there's a video with this old man sitting without shirt and someone sticking spoons on his body, and there's like, oh, he's magnetic. And I want to say the spoon is not made of iron, first of all. You can't claim that. And I saw the comments on that thing. People are like, this dude needs to shower. Probably it's sweat. That's why things are sticking.
That was the first thing I thought. I thought, oh, but he's just sweaty. That's all.
Wow.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
magnetic powers. Okay, here's what I would want. Let's see, I would want my vaccination to give me teleporting powers, like if I wanted to go buy a box of cookies at the grocery store right now, I could just like that and I would be at the grocery store right now. Like I don't have to spend the time going from here to there.
Smart. Kathy, what do you want?
Yeah, what do you want?
I think I would want the power to change people's minds according to what I want to do.
Oh my God, you are you're the
that.
evil person. You know what I want? I want to be able to go on without needing to eat, so then I don't have to bother about cooking and everything that comes with it.
Okay, I like that too. Damn it, I like that. I want also to not ever, because it is so annoying to me to have to think.
So much time. Like, it's a waste of time, I feel.
It's a waste of time. I hear you. And then maybe I'll stop eating the boxes of cookies.
Right. Yeah.
But I like that. The power to change people's mind. That's very powerful. Wow. I wasn't even going there, but wow, that's powerful.
Maybe she'll make me write my book by changing my mind.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah. Right.
Do other people have to know what you want to change their minds to, or are you going to work stealthily at it?
It's going to be sneaky for sure. Like stealthily, like change their mind. Then there would be no need of negotiations, or like I could just think of it.
I'm scared of you.
Ellen, what are you doing? Where are you right now? Why are you traveling?
So my best friend's getting married tomorrow.
Oh.
So that's where I am. I'm in her house. I kind of kicked everybody out of the room because I'm like, I have something very important to do. Nobody disturb me. There's a sign outside the door which says meeting in progress.
So is it an Indian wedding?
It's both. So tomorrow's American wedding, then there's like 3-4 days of all the Indian functions. Like we'll have Sangeet and Haldi, Mehendi, everything, then Indian wedding.
Oh,
So
okay.
in the free time, all of us are also practicing. The bridesmaids are practicing for the Sangeet dance performance. So it's very busy schedule we are following here.
Well, are you a good dancer? Do you think you'll be able to follow the moves?
Oh, I choreographed it. It kind of fell on me because everybody else is like, we don't know how to do this.
Oh,
So I'm
you
like, okay,
choreographed it.
by default, I'm the one doing this.
So did you choreograph it using some dance moves from movies? How did you do it?
Yeah, we saw some YouTube videos, picked some things, and then based on the group, we decided if something is too hard, changed it to something simpler. And then I think we are doing 4 songs and for a total
Wow.
of 4 minutes. So yeah,
Wow.
it's turned out good. I'm excited about it.
Kathy, are you a dancer at all?
Yeah, I was. I used to take dance classes in India and then I stopped. But yeah, the moves are still there, you know. I still know how to dance.
Really? So
Yeah.
so do you know how to dance Kathak?
Yeah. I used to take Kathak classes and then I
Oh,
stopped. And then now it's like, yeah, I still dance, but not Kathak at all. Yeah.
oh, okay. Oh my gosh. Well, one of the things I'm really excited about when they do the movie version or the TV series of the Henna Artist is that scene where Lakshmi's dancing the Kathak dance in her house. I cannot wait to see that. And then let's see, tomorrow I'm at Book Passage virtually, Book Passage in Corte Madera. And I'm going, and I asked Frida Pinto if she would please do a little video for us because she's in the UK right now and it doesn't work for her to be on the live with us tomorrow. It would be like 11 o'clock at night for her and she has an early morning acting schedule. So she did. So she sent me a video and we're going to play that at the beginning. And she's talking about why she's interested in bringing South Asian stories to the big and little screen. And I just think
Nice.
that's, yeah, it's really amazing. And my publisher says, I just think it's amazing that you text Frida Pinto regularly.
Yeah. And
That
how is
is.
it like how's the series or the TV show or the movie coming along?
I
When
think
did
the development is going really well. And,
Okay.
hopefully we will be filming right around the time that the third book comes out. Yay!
Also, all the
Awesome.
books are gonna be out before the series airs.
Other books are going to be out. What do you mean?
The third book will be out before the series starts.
Yes, it'll be out before the series starts, but not before the filming starts. So the filming will get
Okay.
started
Yeah, nice.
before.
I like that. I like to read the entire series and then watch the movie or TV show. So yeah, I like that.
I like that too. I want to read it first and then I will watch the production. I don't want to have it spoil, the story for me when I actually get down to reading it. I don't want to know the ending first.
Yes.
So.
Can we ask you questions about which characters are playing, like which actors are playing which characters?
I don't know, except for Frida Pinto playing Lakshmi. I don't know any of the other characters because that's probably going to be one of the last things that they do in the development. The first part of what they have to do in the development, you guys, is they have to write the episodes, figure out what all the scenes are, what the settings are, what locations they're going to have to scout out. And then they have to get the money for the whole series. And then they finally get around to hiring the cast and crew. So that's like the last thing that they do. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But I'll let you know as soon as they start casting people, I'll be able to, and they give me the green light to share it with you. I'll be able to let you know. Cool. Well, you guys, it's been lovely chit-chatting with you. This is so fun.
Yeah, it's so much fun. I didn't realize where the time went.
I
Yeah.
know. And I'm so glad that we all have our favorite drinks with us. And, we say cheers in England. We say chin chin in, in Italy. In Russia, they say prost. What do they
Salud.
say? What?
There's also salud.
Salute.
Yeah, it's in, I think in Spain they did that. Salud.
Salud. Yeah. So what do they say in Hindi? Do they say anything like that when we're toasting?
I
Anything
don't
like
think
that?
so.
I think so.
They just directly drink it.
They just get right to it.
Yeah.
Down the hatch.
Yeah.
So you guys, it's great talking to you. I hope that you guys will start featuring the henna artists on your blogs and your posts and things like that. You know, one of the things I really thought was important is that most books, they end with this happy ending, right? And then you never get to know what happens to people after that. And I wanted to cover in The Secret Keeper the middle part of people's relationships, right? So how are Lakshmi and Jay Kumar doing now that they've been married for 6 years? How is Malik doing now that he has grown into a man? How are the Singhs doing, and Ravi and Sheila, now that they are married? Do they have a happy marriage? How has that marriage turned out? So these are all like the middle parts of people's lives that I wanted to cover in The Secret Keeper. I think, you know, I love to know, a lot of times after I finish a book, I just think, well, whatever happened to so-and-so? And are those two people going to be okay? And, you know, is so-and-so going to survive? And, you know, all of this kind of thing. So it was really fun. It was really fun for me to explore the relationships between all of these people. And of course, you know, whatever happens to Radha, she's so impetuous, and how, you know, how did she make out? So.
Yeah, I'm just going to go now and like start reading the book. Yes.
And also, you guys, let's see, I think on my channel, on my Instagram account, we're running an audiobook giveaway. So we have 3 audiobook giveaways. And it was fun because in the Henna Artist, I only had the one narrator, Sneha, doing Lakshmi's voice. Now I have 3 narrators because I have 3 different narrators in the actual book. So now we have Malik's voice, and we have Nimmi's voice, and of course we have Sneha coming back to do Lakshmi's voice. So it's really gorgeous. I was so startled when I first started hearing Malik's voice. And even though I had picked out the actor, when he started speaking the first chapter, I was like, oh, is this the guy I hired, really? And then he's so good at mimicking other people's voices, like mimicking Hakeem the accountant, or mimicking Manu and Samir, and, you know, all of these people. He's an amazing actor. So I enjoyed that a lot.
That's great. I think I'm gonna get the audiobook just for this.
You know what she's gonna do? She's gonna do the giveaway, and she's gonna win one of those giveaways.
Yeah.
Oh no, you revealed it to people, Alka. I was hoping less people will enter it, so I win.
Well, talk to everybody at the wedding about talking to me, and tell them to buy The Secret Keeper of Jaipur, and then wait for number 3. How exciting! Well, wish your bonne chance to your bride from me. Please.
I will.
And
thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Kathy.
you.
Thank you.
All right, cheers.
Bye. Cheers.